It has watched continents drift apart. It has seen empires of dinosaurs rise and fall. It has survived 5 mass extinctions, endless storms, and the death of worlds. And yet, it still swims among us. The creature that never died. Long before the first trees shaded the land, before any bird took to the skies, there was movement in the sea. A silent shadow slicing through the water. It was sleek, efficient, and ancient beyond imagination. The first shark. For over 450 million years, sharks have ruled the oceans. They witnessed the Cambrian explosion, the age of the trilobites, the birth of fish, and the great extinction that nearly erased life itself. When the Permian world burned and 90% of life vanished, they endured. When an asteroid turned the sky to fire and ended the reign of dinosaurs, they endured. But how? How could one lineage survive what destroyed almost everything else? Their secret lies not in brute strength, but in perfection itself. Nature sculpted them so precisely that evolution had little left to improve. The early oceans were chaos, filled with bizarre creatures armored in bone and spikes. Yet the shark's design was simple and lethal. A flexible skeleton of cartilage, rows of regenerating teeth, senses tuned to the faintest heartbeat in the dark. Every detail built for survival, every weakness refined by time. They learned to adapt faster than extinction could erase them. When the seas grew acidic, they changed. When prey disappeared, they hunted new ones. When predators evolved, they became stronger, smarter, faster. Sharks didn't conquer time. They flowed with it. Imagine the ocean 250 million years ago. The surface shimmered under a blazing sun, but below, the water grew cold and silent. A shadow moved there, Helicoprion, the buzzsaw shark, its jaw spiraling with teeth like a weapon forged from nightmares. In those ancient depths, even monsters feared other monsters. Yet not all sharks were giants. Some shrank to survive the lean ages, hiding in caves or deep trenches where the chaos above could not reach them. Others evolved strange forms, hammerheads, sawfish, carpet sharks, each a living experiment in design. Through every cataclysm, through every shifting sea, one truth endured. The ocean always made room for a shark. If you love uncovering the secrets buried in time, subscribe for more journeys like this one. Because the story of survival is far from over. The next chapter begins with a killer that changed everything. Megalodon, 50 feet long, teeth like daggers, a jaw strong enough to crush a whale's skull. For millions of years it ruled the oceans uncontested. But even this giant could not escape the cold grip of change. As ice spread across the earth and prey dwindled, Megalodon vanished. The oceans grew quiet again. Yet the shark's legacy never ended. Its smaller cousins thrived, inheriting the same resilience that had carried their ancestors across eons. Today, more than 500 species of shark patrol our seas. From the great white slicing through waves to the ghostly Greenland shark drifting through the Arctic deep, alive for centuries, older than most nations. Every scar on their skin is a story older than our species. Every movement a reminder that survival isn't about domination. It's about endurance. They are living fossils, proof that perfection doesn't need to change. When mammals rose, when glaciers swallowed the continents, when humans began to fish and fear them, the sharks remained. Watching, waiting, enduring. If this story is pulling you in, subscribe now. There are many more worlds to uncover together. Because one truth echoes through every tide, every storm, every heartbeat beneath the waves. The shark is not just a survivor. It is evolution's masterpiece. But the ocean still hides its oldest secret. A creature even stranger, born before the first shark took its breath. And that story begins next. Before sharks became the rulers of the sea, Earth was a battlefield of survival. Vast continents were lifeless, scorched by radiation and storms, while the oceans swelled with strange life. In these dark waters, evolution wrote its earliest verses, and among them the shark's ancestors emerged. They were smaller, slower, unrefined, but they carried something precious: adaptability, a gift that would outlast every empire life would ever build. The world was different then. The oceans were shallower, warmer, and thick with plankton blooms that turned the water green. Great reefs of sponges and corals shimmered under sunlight, and in the shadows moved Cladosalach, one of the earliest true sharks. Smooth-skinned, fast, and without armor, it was unlike any fish before it. While others depended on heavy shells for protection, Cladosalach relied on movement. It could twist, turn, and vanish into the deep before any predator could strike. It was the first to show what would become the shark's eternal philosophy: survival through elegance, not excess. From that moment, time began to shape them into perfection. Their eyes learned to see in the dark. Their nostrils could smell a drop of blood from miles away. Tiny pores on their snouts, the ampullae of Lorenzini, let them sense the electric hum of living hearts. They became hunters that could feel life itself. Epoch after epoch, extinction after extinction, they endured. Even when fire rained from the sky and the seas boiled, their kind slipped through the cracks of apocalypse, finding refuge in the depths where no sunlight reached. It wasn't luck. It was design, one built not by intelligence, but by time itself. During the Mesozoic, while dinosaurs thundered across the land, the oceans belonged to other terrors, massive reptiles like mosasaurs and ichthyosaurs, but the sharks adapted again. Some learned to hunt in packs. Others became ambush predators rising from the dark in a burst of power. And when the asteroid struck, ending the age of the dinosaurs, the sharks survived once more. They had already been through worse. Picture it: an ocean choked with ash, sunlight gone, the surface littered with death. Yet beneath that stillness, shadows continued to move. Sharks, gliding silently through the dark, feeding on what remained. The Earth's reset button had been pressed, and they were ready. Because they had always been ready. The secret of the shark's immortality lies in its blood. Their immune systems are ancient marvels, fighting infection and disease in ways no other vertebrate can match. Their skin is covered in dermal denticles, microscopic teeth that reduce drag and repel parasites. Even their reproduction is an act of survival. Pups born fully formed, ready to swim, ready to kill, ready to endure. In a way, sharks are time travelers, carrying the code of ancient oceans within them. When you see one glide beneath the waves today, you're not just seeing an animal. You're looking into a window that reaches back 500 million years. But this ancient perfection has a weakness. For the first time in their history, sharks are facing an enemy they cannot outswim. Us. Humans kill more than 70 million sharks every year. For their fins. For sport. For fear. Oceans that once echoed with their presence are growing silent. And yet, they still endure. They adapt even to us. Scientists have seen sharks venturing into shallower waters, changing migratory patterns, shifting their diets. Their story, the longest survival tale on Earth, continues to unfold before our eyes. If you love uncovering the hidden histories of life itself, subscribe for more journeys like this one. Because the past is never truly gone, it's still swimming just beneath the surface. And beneath that surface, there are still monsters the world has forgotten. Creatures that once rivaled even the sharks for dominance. But the ocean hasn't told that story yet, and it begins in the age before bones, before teeth, before any creature learned to hunt. There was hunger, a silent pulse that stirred in the ancient seas, driving the first living things to chase the shadows of others. From that hunger, all predators were born. In those primeval oceans 500 million years ago, life was fragile and strange. Soft-bodied creatures drifted through the currents, their forms glowing faintly in the dim blue light. But among them, a new kind of animal was rising, one that could sense, pursue, and devour. These were the shark's ancestors, small, eel-like beings with the first traces of cartilage skeletons. They had no bones, no armor, only speed and an instinct to survive. And from them, the story of every hunter on Earth would begin. Over millions of years, their forms grew sharper. Fins became wings of muscle, jaws hardened, teeth appeared, not once, but in endless rows, ready to replace any that broke. Nature was building a weapon that would never dull. The Devonian period, the age of fishes, was their proving ground. Oceans teemed with armored placoderms, heavy and slow, while sharks learned the art of efficiency. They didn't need shields or bulk. They became stealth itself, flexible, electric, unyielding. By the time the dinosaurs appeared, sharks had already perfected their craft. They didn't need to change. They only needed to wait. That's why their story is unlike any other. Every great beast of the past, the ammonite, the trilobite, the ichthyosaur, even the mighty T-Rex, all vanished when the Earth shifted. But the shark remained. It was never the biggest, never the most intelligent, never the most feared, but it was the most prepared, and it still is. A great white slicing through a school of fish today carries the same design as its ancestor from 200 million years ago. The same eyes, the same teeth, the same relentless rhythm. Time has changed the world, but not them. They are the line that connects every ocean that ever existed, the living memory of Earth's first hunters. And maybe that's why we fear them, because somewhere deep within us, in the part of our mind that still remembers the ancient sea, we recognize them. We remember that before we walked the land, before we built fire or language, the shark was already there, watching, waiting, perfect. It has survived ice ages, supervolcanoes, asteroid impacts, and now faces its greatest test, humanity. But if history has taught us anything, it's this. Extinction doesn't come easily for the creature that never died. The shark's heartbeat will echo long after ours is gone. And when the last lights of civilization fade into darkness, when the seas rise and reclaim the earth once more, something will still move in the depths, ancient, silent, eternal. The same creature that began it all, the creature that never died.